It's in 1 Kings 2, verses 1 through 4. 1 Kings 2, verses 1 through 4. Reads as follows: Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong therefore, and show thyself a man. And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments, and keep his statutes and his commandments, and his judgment and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself, that the Lord may continue his word which he spake concerning me, saying, If thy children take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail thee, said he, a man on the throne of Israel. I like to hang my hat on verse 2, where it reads, I go the way, David talking, of all the earth. Be thou strong, he's talking to Solomon, therefore, and show thyself a man. Verse 2 in the Living Bible says, I am going where every man on earth must someday go. I am counting on you to be strong and a worthy successor. The Message Bible says, I'm about to go the way of all the earth, but you be strong. Show what you're made of. But I think I want to hang my hat on what the NIV said. I'm about to go the way of all the earth, he said. So be strong, act like a man. For a few minutes on this Father's Day, I'd like to share with you from the subject, act like a man. I ain't talking about no Steve Harvey. I said, act like a man. Saints, we're living in rapidly changing times. Our norms are being moved constantly. Even the definition of what a man has been traditionally is being stretched daily. Somewhere on today is a woman that is giving herself Father's Day kudos. There are far too many women that have been forced to raise children by themselves in our day. This is so disappointing, and one of the first reasons that so many brothers need to learn to act like a man. However harsh these experiences may be for you, my sisters, don't give yourself Father's Day kudos. Don't ever say that you're your children's mama and their daddy. That's right. I know that you're thinking that this message has some type of chauvinistic bent, but that's not my desire. I can't speak for the next man, but I don't want a woman that's a father. That's right. I don't want a lady that acts like a man. Amen. Sisters, I know that men may have failed you before, but there's no reason for you to go out and start wearing a tool belt with your purse. My God. I can't speak for every brother, but I don't desire for my lady to walk around with barbells and muscles that are bigger than mine. No. Call me old-fashioned, but I still think that old thing that little girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice. Sister, you might know how to use some tools, but I don't desire a woman to act like a man. This message today isn't about the sisters, but it's about the many brothers who are amongst the masses that need to start acting like a man. For the most part, the sisters are doing what they're supposed to. That black girl magic is on display every day. Sisters, I have to give it to you. You all are killing the game at school, killing the game at home, and killing the game on the job. It's the brothers, for the most part, that need to get our acts together. We need to be strong and act like a man. I know that nearly any brother can make a bunch of babies, but can we be man enough to take care of them? Why are the brothers of this day more concerned? Y'all let me go rated R just for a second. I'll come back to PG. More concerned with blue pills, yellow pills, Cialis, Viagra, Rooster Booster, herbal teas, and horny goat weed more than we are with the ills of our day. Brothers, we are more than our zippers. Our thinking should be driven by our minds and not by our fleshly desires. It's time for men to act like men. We should once again open doors for the sisters. I should have got an amen from the sisters right there. We should once again be the ones that help the older women up and down the stairs. Sisters, I know that chivalry is greatly challenged, but I will tell you with boldness that chivalry isn't dead. I remember that a young brother once pulled up to my folks' house to take my sister out, and he blew his horn several times. I had to go to the car and talk to the young brother, and I had to tell him, this ain't no truck stop. And I told him that if he did it again, me and every brother on this street who just happened to be outside was going to deal with him. Guess what, saints? He didn't blow no more. That's why my sisters hated me back in the day, meeting their little boyfriends. Let's get back to the text. David is nearing death. He admonished his son to be strong and act like a man. David knows that death is on his trail, and now he's ready to pass the torch. David knew that the Lord prospers and grants success to those who walked in his ways. Brothers, I agree that we need to walk in the ways of the Lord. Isaiah 1:19 says, if ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. Brothers, for our families to prosper, men need to not only act like a man, but we need to walk in the ways of the Lord. Our people are challenged so greatly because we have so many men who aren't exhibiting strength and walking in the ways of the Lord. I'm not calling one brother here or anywhere else weak, but so many things plague black men. At times we seem to be like an endangered species. We have so many stereotypes that we have to live down on the job, in the media, and in society itself. I know the feeling of getting on an elevator and seeing women of another color start to clutch their purse. Even when I have a suit on. The suit don't make no difference. They're still gonna grab their purse and hold it up to them as if I'm gonna rob them. I got a friend that when they do that to him, he says, ah! So I don't want to do that, but I start pulling up on my side of the elevator, which is a requirement that I shouldn't have to do. Folks, that's not my hang up, that's their hang up. Black men rarely get the benefit of the doubt. I've heard so much in the corporate workplace about my tone. That's how they try to pigeonhole brothers in the corporate workplace. They talk to you about your tone. And then they say that my size intimidates others who might not look like me. I respond, how long have I worked here? And they respond, over 10 years. I then ask, is there one time that I hit someone? They said, not that we've heard. I say, is there one time that I've pinched someone? They say, no. I then ask, is there one time I've done anything physical to one person? And they say, no. I then say, for my size, I'm not going to apologize because that's their hang up and not mine. As for my tone, I'm not a little bitty woman, nor should I speak like one. I choose to speak like a voice of many waters. When my tone is strong, that's just me being a little like my God. Black men, we should act like a what? Man, we shouldn't be in the workplace scratching where we don't itch, laughing when nothing's funny, and talking like we're all a little child. If we're all men at all, we need to show some time. It's time for us to act like a man. Our little boys and our little girls are watching. Most boys need the affirmation of a man. So men, we need to pick up the slack for the brothers that aren't doing anything. My uncle Bishop William Young used to take all the kids on Azalea Street, all the boys on Azalea Street to Maywood. Now that's dating ourselves. I don't know if y'all remember Maywood, but it was a beach that they made down there in Mississippi. Y'all remember that? Oh, y'all telling off on y'all self too, because it's been closed for about 30-something years. But y'all remember Maywood? If you remember Maywood, you know, the little poor kids could go down there and we see a beach, but the beach right down there in Mississippi. Now, boat right, do you remember Maywood? That's for your time. So y'all don't remember, but I'm talking about Maywood. He would drive 10 of us in his Grand Marquis to go swim. And everyone who was in that car now, all of us are in our 50s. And guess what? Each one of those guys still asks me how my uncle is doing. You do not know what kind of impression you can make on someone else. Brothers, we need to act like a man, even when other brothers aren't. We need to grab a hold of our young men before the streets get them. Yes. Many are in gangs now because they felt like the gang was the first place to show them love. Yes. Love like this will send our young men to places that they don't desire. Right. Gang love most times will send you to prison or an early grave. If we're going to save our young black men, then we need to act like a man. I once took my daughter out on a date just to show her how things with a man should go. Even if she hadn't heeded nothing that I taught her, I still wanted to set the example of how going out with a man was. I dated a young lady in high school who every time I came over to pick her up, her daddy cleaned his pistol. You think you don't get a message right then? When I walked in the door, hey, how you doing? And he shines his pistol up. Now that's a little silent message that you're getting once. You mess up, brother, guess what? It's ready. What happened to dads like that? Brother, we need to follow God's ordinance, his command, and follow God's laws if our people are to survive the challenges that we face. We need to heed the words of Deuteronomy 29 verse 9, which reads as follows: keep therefore the words of this covenant and do them, that ye may prosper in all that ye do. Our men should regain their rightful places. We should show ourselves as men. Being a man of God doesn't mean that we are weak. As I had to set a young fellow in place yesterday for coming to me wrong. I said, young man, I ain't got nothing to do with your situation. But you came to me all the way wrong. Don't let this sport coat fool you. You talking to a man. And he stopped woofing then. You know, it's easy to woof when you think ain't nobody gonna woof back. Now, brother, we just going down in a blaze of glory. Is this how I go out? We finna go out in style. But you gonna have to deal with something. Now it was embarrassing enough. His funeral home had a little situation because two guys from the same funeral home are pushing each other. And I said, man, please don't do this to this family. This family already got a death. And y'all about to fight right in front of the family. Don't do this. So I'm the peacemaker. And then dude just thought that I was involved, so he come to him. Man, you better get this right. I'm going to deal with you. Brother, let me tell you something. And he went on his way when I talked to him, Bo, right? He went on and got on out of his way because he was talking to, I'm a man. I mean, if you dealing with a man, the Bible said, you know, once you put away childish things, he said, now that I'm a man, I put away childish things. And I don't want to mess with anybody's child. I'm not going to mess with anybody's child. But if your child mess with me, I believe in turning the other cheek, but we got two cheeks. After that, we own and popping. You agree? All right. But saints, men should talk like men. Men should walk like men. Men need to just be men. Saints, David was passing on a kingdom in this text. And I'm not talking about that, but I am talking about ruling our homes and setting new standards for our families and kids. Psalm 132 contains a promise that God made to David. Psalm 132 verses 12 through 18. God said to David, if thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children. He's not talking about David's children. He's saying their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. For the Lord hath chosen Zion. He hath desired for his habitation. This is my rest forever, God said. He wants to live in Zion. Here will I dwell, for I have desired it. He said, I will abundantly bless her provision. God's promising to bless us. I will satisfy her poor with bread. I will also clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud for joy. And then God promised that I'll make the horn of David, the government of David, to bud, to grow, like he's going to make Temple of Love grow. I have ordained a lamp for mine anointed. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself shall the crown flourish. Did you hear these awesome promises? God promised to not only bless David, but his seed, his government, and his finances. God promised David a dynasty if his family had just kept if his family would just keep the ways of the Lord. My brothers, we need to be strong and act like a man so our own families can build dynasties. We need a Young dynasty. We need a Bell dynasty. We need a Smith dynasty. We need a Boatwright dynasty. Brothers, we need to walk before God in truth and with a perfect heart. Being a man won't be easy. There'll be many times when acting like a man will be tough. It's not an easy job to be a man, but men must pay the price to do so if our people are ever going to get out of the mess that we're in right now. Brothers, we have to be strong. We need to keep the charge of the Lord. Then we need to act like men. Our daughters will appreciate it. Our sons will grab a hold of it. Brothers, if following God will cause us to prosper in all that we do and whatsoever we turn, then doesn't it make sense for us to follow God? My brothers and sisters, I know that Father's Day causes a lot of emotions. Both right, I'm ready to ride. Maybe your father never properly affirmed you. Maybe your father passed away as Josh's did. Or maybe your children's father just isn't doing what he should do. Whatever the case may be, I know that Father's Day isn't celebrated like Mother's Day. On Mother's Day in the cemetery, you can't move for the abundance of cars that are there. But on Father's Day, you can see the tumbleweeds blow. Let's change this, my brothers. Let's act like a man. I will close by telling you that we have a Father who can. I might not be able to tell the wind to blow or the stars to shine at my command, but there's one consolation. I'm happy to know I have a Father who can. I may not be able to tell the sea when to stop before she rolls across the sand, but there's one consolation. I'm happy to know I have a Father who can. Josh, your father may be gone, but I'm telling you that we have a Father who can. A Father that's ready to be there for you. A Father that's ready for you to come to him. A Father that's ready to keep you. A Father that's ready to nurture you. A Father that's ready to hold you up. In that lonely hour, we have a Father who will always understand, and he will always be there to lend us a helping hand, no matter the situation that this world may bring on. His word, on his word, I will stand. I have a Father who can. You may not know that joker's number. You may not know his name. You may have never met him. But if you ain't here today, and you have a Father who can, let me hear you. Stand to your feet. Let's celebrate our God. We have a Father who can. Saints of God. Lord, we need to hear from you. We need to hear from you. Lord, we need to hear from you. If we don't hear from you, what will we do? Wanting you more each day. Show us your perfect way. There's no other way that we can live. Brothers, we need to act like a man. Saints of God, I'm telling you, to change this thing around. It's time for us to take back our streets, take back our homes, take back our families, our young men. I don't have to be in the Crips or the Bloods. I'm telling you, we got to take back. We need to act like a man. I'm sorry, sister. You may know how to change a tire. I'm sorry, sister. You may know how to use a screwdriver. I'm sorry, sister. You can't be a father to that son. I gotta pick up the tassel. Saints of God. I'm talking to you, Josh. Your daddy's gone to heaven. But it's my responsibility to set the right example right in front of you. And I promise you that when there's a knock at my door, I don't send Deborah to the door to answer it. I'm not that type of man. Saints of God, I'm telling you, all the brothers that take pride in being a real man, let me hear you. Let me hear you roar. Let me hear you scream. Saints of God, I'm tired of zombies. Saints of God, I'm tired of no women carrying the load. Our sisters are so jacked up because they've been carrying the load. We gotta go back and take over our homes. We gotta take the load and carry our children. Saints of God, it's time for every brother to act like a man. So that boy ain't got no daddy. Fill in, be his reserve daddy. Show him how a man should act. Saints of God, we're acting like a man.